Some games don't want you to think, they just want you to smash buttons and destroy everything. Flying swords, infinite combos, screaming bosses, and entire arenas collapsing in chaos. Dismembering enemies with precision and humiliating them in style becomes routine. That's the heart of hack and slash, intense action, fast pacing, and addictive combat. So buckle up, this list is all about pure satisfying carnage. Before we dive in, tell me what's your favorite hack and slash game of all time? And if you're into this kind of chaos, hit that subscribe button, it really helps me keep going. There's no better way to start this list than with a storm of swords, demons, and pure style. In Devil May Cry 5, the action kicks off immediately, and there's no time to breathe. You control 3 different characters, each with their own combat style, taking down anything that moves. The story is full of twists, old rivalries, apocalyptic threats, and moments that somehow keep topping themselves in scale and insanity. Combat is the beating heart of it all. It's fast, stylish, and insanely addictive. It's not just about winning, it's about winning with flair. The combo system rewards creativity, improvisation, and boldness. Landing an impossible combo without taking a hit feels like a real achievement. Everything is built to be fast, fluid, and impactful. The crumbling city backdrop sets the stage for cinematic fights. You'll dash through collapsing buildings, demonic caverns, and streets overrun with grotesque roots. The pacing never slows. It launches you from one insane mission to the next with zero filler and with heavy music pumping. The vibe is pure adrenaline from start to finish. Devil May Cry 5 doesn't want you to overthink. It wants to hand you a giant sword, a stylish coat, and a reason to cut through everything in your path. And somewhere in all that chaos, you actually start to care more than you thought, because in the end, it's not just about action, it's about attitude. She's back the only way she knows how, dancing, mocking, and blowing everything to pieces. Bayonetta 3 kicks off with the world at risk, mysterious forces invading alternate realities, and the most stylish witch in gaming taking charge of the madness. The story is wild, over the top, full of portals, clones, and scenes that defy logic, and that's exactly why it works so well. Combat is a show in itself. Every hit, every perfectly timed dodge, every massive summon, it all makes you feel unstoppable. But don't get too comfortable. The game demands precision. You need to learn patterns, know when to strike, and most importantly, dodge with style. The witch time mechanic is addictive and game-changing when used right. The levels range from cyberpunk chaos to mythical dreamscapes, and each stage feels like a pop music video mixed with a Baroque fever dream. Bayonetta changes outfits, forms, weapons, and even universes without missing a beat. That unpredictability keeps you locked in. One moment it's a lava dragon, the next a killer train. Doesn't matter, she handles it all. Bayonetta 3 isn't trying to be serious. It embraces absurdity as its identity, and it does it with so much confidence that you just go along for the ride. It's about style, yes, but also about complete freedom. You're doing the impossible in heels with flawless lipstick. In a world ruled by technological war, you play as a sword-wielding cyborg who slices tanks like butter. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is pure rage wrapped in steel, with a story mixing politics, revenge, and moral dilemmas, but it never forgets the main goal, slicing enemies to bits in style. It starts off insane and only gets crazier in the best way possible. Combat revolves around timing and surgical strikes. You literally choose where to slice your enemies, arm, leg, torso, it's up to you. The blade mode system is addictive, and when you hit that slow motion window, it feels like time stops just for you to shine. It's brutal and oh so satisfying. The soundtrack explodes right when it needs to, pushing adrenaline through the roof. And the bosses, each one more insane than the last. From rocket-powered mechs to a shredded politician with a katana, it's controlled chaos. And every fight leaves you hungry for more. Metal Gear Rising isn't here to make sense. It wins you over with sheer force, the roar of slicing steel, and that iconic post-battle pose. It's all about over-the-top action, and even years later, it still stands as one of the wildest hack-and-slash games ever made. In a ruined future, humanity is on the brink of extinction, hunted by creatures known as Natibos. In Stellar Blade, you play as a warrior sent to Earth to flip the tide, and what starts as a military mission soon turns into something much deeper. The story is layered with mystery and that constant feeling that something's just off. Each new area only deepens the sense that this threat is far bigger than it seems. Combat is precise, fast, and all about rhythm. It's not a button masher, it's a flow. Dodging at the last second, countering perfectly, chaining stylish combos, and ending with a cinematic finisher, it's addictive, and the game knows it. The environments blend tech and spirituality. Overgrown cities, forgotten machines, temples that breathe with energy. Each place feels like it holds forgotten memories. And the main character isn't just fighting. She's trying to understand where she fits in this broken world. Stellar Blade brings blockbuster energy, but it beats with an RPG heart. You're evolving, not just in combat, but in the questions that come up along the way. It's beautiful, brutal, and deeply mysterious. And once you start, it's hard to stop, because you need to know what really happened to Earth. An interdimensional invasion is tearing apart the last scraps of civilization, and your only chance of survival is chaining yourself to a beast. In Astral Chain, you're a Special Forces officer of Noron, tasked with taking down creatures called chimeras. But this isn't just another action game. It mixes investigation, family drama, and pure anime energy with surprising balance. The standout mechanic is your synced combat with a Legion, your chained partner controlled in tandem. While you strike from one side, the Legion grabs, attacks, or finishes off enemies on the other. It's like fighting with two brains, and when it clicks, the screen becomes a choreographed chaos of combos and lights. The world is a blend of futuristic neon and urban decay. You patrol alleys, busy streets, and glitchy nightmares of alternate dimensions. And between fights, the game slows down, letting you ask questions, observe, and just walk among the people. That adds a human touch few action games manage. Astral Chain isn't just about stylish brawling. It pulls you in with its mechanics and stays with you because of its story. It makes you fight, yes, but it also makes you think. And when the credits roll, you won't just remember the action, but every choice, every bond, every quiet moment amid the chaos. The world is falling apart. Gods are at war. Lost souls wander endlessly. You play as a Valkyrie sent by divine will to restore balance, but you quickly learn the truth isn't so simple. Valkyrie Elysium begins as a sacred mission and becomes a journey of doubt. Because maybe, just maybe, the gods don't deserve your loyalty. Combat is fast-paced, with aerial combos and rapid weapon switching. Each enemy demands a different approach. You switch weapons in real time, cast elemental spells, and summon spirit allies called Einherjar to shift the tide of battle. It's all about keeping the flow going, and the game rewards you for it. The landscapes are solemn and haunting. Forgotten castles, gray plains, ruins frozen in time. The soundtrack reinforces that mood, a world in mourning. Sometimes the game slows down just so you can take it all in. There's beauty even in decay. Valkyrie Elysium is packed with action, but it also has soul. It blends Norse mythology with modern questions about belief, purpose, and free will. And when it all ends, maybe the biggest battle wasn't against monsters, but against the truths you once believed in. While the apocalypse consumes Earth, Death, one of the oldest and most feared entities, embarks on a desperate mission. His goal, to prove his brother's innocence and prevent the end of the world. The story runs parallel to the first game, but it's more mythological, tragic, and profound. You're not saving the world out of kindness, but honor, and that adds weight to a character burdened by millennia. Combat is fast, focused on dodges, quick combos, and shadowy magic. A wide arsenal lets you switch fighting styles anytime, keeping the pace intense. Each new dungeon brings puzzles, challenges, and massive boss fights, and these bosses demand strategy, not just strength. It's not just combat, it's chaos in ancient form. The world is a visual marvel. You traverse deserts that echo lost voices, titanic fortresses, and temples that seem alive. Each environment feels grand and mournful, like witnessing the fall of an ancient era. It's a decaying universe, still pulsing with power and mystery, and you walk through it with dark purpose. Darksiders 2 is about action, but also reflection. Death, as destructive as he seems, seeks redemption in every step. The Deathinitive edition updates the visuals while reviving one of the genre's most underrated games, an epic journey forged in steel and sorrow. Dante's Inferno, inspired by Dante Alighieri's literary masterpiece, this game turns poetry into pure fury. You're not just battling monsters, you're descending through the circles of hell, confronting humanity's darkest sins. Each area represents a grotesque part of our corruption, lust, gluttony, greed, and beyond. It's personal and painful, with flashbacks revealing a broken past. The combat sticks to the classic hack-and-slash style, long combos, brutal spells, and symbolic executions. But the intensity lies in the weight of each blow. You choose to punish or absolve souls, and that choice affects your path. These decisions aren't light. The game pulls you deep into its suffocating world. Design-wise, it's grotesque, haunting, and unforgettable. Blood, flesh, flames, screaming faces. Everything is made to disturb, and it works. Few games make you want to pause just to breathe. Dante's Inferno does. The sound design and environments make hell feel painfully real. More than a hack and slash, Dante's Inferno is a journey through guilt, redemption, and human horror. It doesn't aim to please, it wants you to feel every sin, and sometimes what haunts most is what remains after the battle. Time shatters, and with it, the line between past, present, and future. In Battle Through Time, legendary Samurai Jack is pulled into a temporal vortex by his nemesis, reliving pivotal moments of his journey. His mission? Repair time, escape the cycle, and finally find peace. Even if you haven't seen the series, the urgency is clear. For fans, it hits twice as hard. Combat blends fast-paced action with tactical weapon variety. Jack wields a katana, spears, staffs, and even guns, each with unique reach and impact. The upgrade system is light but effective. Fluid gameplay lets you switch styles without breaking pace, and delivering precise strikes amid chaos feels incredibly satisfying. Each level recreates a classic episode turned into a battlefield. Robotic forests, floating fortresses, trap-filled deserts, and collapsing cities bring the animated style to life in 3D. Between fights, familiar faces return, all carrying narrative weight. The game's visual identity is loyal to the show, but more immersive. Battle Through Time is more than a tribute, it's a conclusion fans waited years for and a full game for newcomers. It mixes intense action with genuine emotion. Jack doesn't fight for glory, he fights for time, memory, and peace, and you feel it in every slash. In the heart of an empire torn by war and corruption, a demonic threat looms large. Chaosbane lets you choose from classes like Mage, Slayer, Soldier, or Archer, each with unique ways to fight the dark. Set in Warhammer's brutal universe, your mission is clear: stop evil from devouring the world. But amidst hordes and colossal bosses, nothing comes easy. Combat is fast and furious, with dozens of enemies on screen at once. Special abilities fly everywhere, and visual effects turn battles into chaos. As you progress, you unlock powers and synergies that shape your build. It's pure hack and slash, and when the rhythm clicks, it's addictive. Dungeons are packed with traps, biome shifts, and hidden rewards. Despite its action focus, exploration pays off. The progression has that classic RPG depth, letting you shape your playstyle more than expected. Intense music and claustrophobic settings keep the tension high. Chaosbane delivers what fans want: non-stop combat, steady evolution, and unforgettable bosses, perfect for those who want to slash through chaos without too much chatter. And in co-op, that chaos becomes truly wild. A ravaged village, samurais twisted by darkness, and a spiritual war beyond human sight. Onimusha Warlords fuses Japanese mythology with third-person action, paced like a survival horror classic. You play a warrior gifted with supernatural power on a mission to rescue a kidnapped girl. But what starts as a rescue turns into a clash of realms. Combat is deliberate and deadly. One mistake can cost everything. Controls may feel stiff at first, but quickly become instinctive. A soul absorption mechanic lets you upgrade weapons and magic, changing how you tackle each challenge. Well-timed moves are the difference between survival and death. Environments range from castles and caves to towering temples. Atmosphere, silence, and tension rule. The art direction creates cursed spaces that feel alive even when empty. Simple puzzles break the combat pace perfectly. It's a game with classic soul and lasting appeal. Onimusha helped define heavy-hitting action in the early 2000s. It doesn't aim for flashiness, it delivers precision, mood, and tension. Even after all these years, it earns its place. Blood, honor, and vengeance. Samurai style. Thing makes sense here, and that's exactly the point. Deadpool is a hack and slash that breaks the fourth wall non-stop, as you control the most insane mercenary in comics. Main mission? Who cares? The game mocks its own story every 5 minutes. But between jokes, bullets, and chaos, it seriously hooks you. Combat is manic dual swords, firearms, and over-the-top moves everywhere. You slash, shoot, leap, and explode. Combos are smooth, and the game rewards variety. You can unlock upgrades, weapons, and skills, all soaked in Deadpool's signature snark. Levels span factories, towers, labs, and bizarre spots. Deadpool invents mid-mission. The visuals don't chase realism, they chase fun, and succeed. The characters' own thoughts argue in real time, mocking everything, even the devs. It's not immersive in a usual sense, but it's unforgettable. Deadpool is chaotic, rude, hilarious, and downright entertaining. It's not trying to be deep, just fun, and it pulls you along just to see what ridiculous thing happens next. When a game embraces its absurdity this well, it already wins. Olympus lies in ruins. Vengeance is inevitable. God of War 3 begins at the peak of the world, with gods falling and titans climbing mountains for blood. Kratos returns, more brutal than ever, driven by fury that consumes all. This final chapter of the original trilogy launches with war, and only escalates from there. Combat is a violent ballet of blades, monsters, and rage. The blades of chaos slice with precision. Additional weapons offer variety, and the upgrade system gives every skill weight. Everything feels impactful. Combos land like extensions of Kratos himself. Visually, it was a massive leap then, and still impresses. Massive set pieces, divine architecture, colossal creatures, and sweeping camera angles amplify destruction. The soundtrack surges at perfect moments. There's no calm, just relentless war.
God of War 3 is one of the genre's grandest journeys. It doesn't aim for balance, it detonates everything. Pure action, with narrative weight and unforgettable scenes. Each fallen enemy feels like part of a cycle shattered by sheer force. Its fury turned into spectacle.
Before the war against the gods, there was the pain of a man broken by false promises. Ascension shows a more human side of Kratos, still torn by loss and trying to understand what he's become. The story takes place before the main trilogy, revealing details never shown before. It's a more contained game, but with moments just as impactful as the franchise's mythological showdowns. Combat keeps the essence of the series, but brings subtle improvements. The blades are still central, but now elemental magic changes the way you attack and defend. Movement feels smoother, combos more natural, and puzzles blend better into the environments. The challenge also ramps up at the right times, demanding more than brute force. It asks for awareness. The settings explore divine prisons, twisted temples, and spiritual realms that play with logic. The game is introspective but visually impressive. Each place seems to reflect the character's inner turmoil. Symbolism, visual cues, and foreshadowing elements connect directly to what's yet to come. It's like watching a warrior being forged from within, not just the monster he later becomes. Ascension might be the series' most personal chapter. It doesn't aim to impress with sheer violence, but reveals the origin of rage. It's the point where the myth starts to crumble, and the man still tries to resist. A game that speaks in a quieter tone, but just as intensely. The cross becomes a weapon, angels stay silent, and the world slips into darkness. Lords of Shadow reimagines the Castlevania franchise with an epic, somber, and surprisingly emotional tone. You control Gabriel Belmont, a knight of the Brotherhood of Light, seeking answers and vengeance. But as the journey unfolds, the line between good and evil fades. All that's left is conviction. Combat blends heavy strikes, dodges, and magic in a system reminiscent of God of War, yet with its own identity. The Silver Chain works both as a weapon and exploration tool. Upgrades unlock over time, with new powers opening previously inaccessible paths. Bosses are major challenges, each with unique mechanics that demand more than quick reflexes. The world is stunning. Poisoned forests, ruined castles, forgotten temples, snow-covered graveyards. The art direction is meticulous, creating a gothic world that feels alive. The orchestral soundtrack adds weight to key moments, and the narration is delivered with rare care. The game knows when to slow down and let the story breathe. Lords of Shadow is grand without being shallow. It's the kind of game that makes you fight with force, but also reflect on what drives you. By the end, it's not just about slaying monsters, it's about what you sacrificed along the way. A bold, dense, unforgettable chapter. When it comes to technical combat and brutal difficulty, few games match Ninja Gaiden 2 Black. You're thrown into hordes of ninjas, demons, and monstrous creatures with a razor-sharp katana and zero mercy. The story is straightforward vengeance and honor in a world where one mistake is fatal, but the game's strength lies in its refined brutality. It punishes without apology. Every battle tests your reflexes. Combat is fast, unforgiving, and extremely responsive. One mistake and your health bar vanishes in seconds, but when you nail it, it's bloody poetry. Each weapon has its own weight, range, and style, and knowing when to switch can change everything. There's a cruel beauty in slicing enemies with such precision. Environments range from Japanese villages to futuristic bases, always packed with traps and ambushes. Everything is designed to challenge you. Even with the high difficulty, it never feels unfair. It just expects you to learn and improve. Every cleared room feels like a small victory, and the sense of progression is constant. Ninja Gaiden 2 Black doesn't hold your hand, it throws you into the fire and watches who walks out. It's for those who appreciate games that respect their skill but never forgive a misstep. And when it's over, what remains isn't just adrenaline, it's pride. A cheerleader zombie hunter with a chainsaw in one hand and her boyfriend's talking head in the other. That's how Lollipop Chainsaw begins, and it only gets crazier. The city is overrun by the undead, summoned by gothic supervillains with supernatural powers. And you, playing as the eccentric Juliet, handle everything in the loudest, flashiest way possible. Combat is light but satisfying. It mixes acrobatics with spinning attacks, chainsaw slashes, and cinematic finishers. You rack up points, unlock new moves, and even customize Juliet with absurd skins. The game isn't trying to be deep, it just wants to be fun, and it nails that with style. Everything is over the top in the best way. The bosses steal the show. Each represents a different music genre: punk, metal, techno, with themed arenas and attack patterns that make every fight unique. The dialogues are insane, with random jokes, fourth wall breaks, and unexpected lines. It's organized chaos, and it works because the game never takes itself seriously. Lollipop Chainsaw is like a violent pop music video you can't stop watching. It's colorful, offensive, ridiculous, and genuinely fun. Beneath all the noise and gore is a game that knows exactly what it wants to be and enjoys every second of it. The galaxy is on the brink of extinction, and the Emperor needs warriors who never retreat, only advance. In Space Marine 2, you step into the boots of a genetically enhanced soldier sent to stop a tyrannid infestation that threatens everything. The story follows the brutal tone of Warhammer 40k, where hope is dead and war is the only language, and on this battlefield, you are the final wall. Combat splits between heavy gunfire and brutal melee with massive weapons. You don't hide behind cover, you charge/explode crush. The game demands constant aggression. The more relentless you are, the more you recover. It's a system that rewards offense and punishes hesitation. The visuals are massive: ruined cities, destroyed ships, war zones littered with corpses and debris. The scale is overwhelming. You're not saving a village, you're trying to stop the fall of an empire. The art direction emphasizes this tension, with shining armor standing out against alien horror. Space Marine 2 isn't subtle, it's loud, direct, and absolutely heavy. Every step echoes like a warning: the slaughter is just beginning. And as the world crumbles, you keep moving, because stopping was never an option. In a future where psychic powers are common and threats fall from the sky, you're part of an elite force fighting creatures known as Others. Scarlet Nexus throws you into a world where the mind is the ultimate weapon, and the city's past hides buried secrets. The story follows two protagonists with intersecting paths, and the deeper you go, the more you realize no one's telling the whole truth. Combat is a wild mix of telekinesis and fast swordplay. You hurl objects with your mind, chain physical attacks, and borrow powers from allies. It's all about creative combos and fast pacing. When you land the perfect sequence, the result is pure stylized destruction that makes every fight satisfying. The settings blend advanced tech with deserted urban landscapes and eerie environments. The electronic soundtrack and cel-shaded visuals give the game a strong identity. It feels like an anime, but with a dark twist. The world may look clean and bright, but something always feels off. That tension builds as the story grows more political and psychological. Scarlet Nexus fuses high-speed action with a plot that's deeper than it first appears. It brings over-the-top powers, grotesque monsters, and dialogue that keeps you second-guessing everything. It's a hack and slash with brains, heart, and a lot of raw power. Between The Lord of the Rings and the fall of Mordor lies a tale of vengeance, ambition, and corrupted power. Shadow of War continues the journey of a warrior possessed by an elven spirit, both determined to raise an army and challenge Sauron. But like everything in that world, the plan demands sacrifice. The story escalates fast. What begins as a personal mission turns into a war shaping Middle-earth's fate. Combat is fluid and brutal. You carve through orc armies with swords, daggers, arrows, and dark powers. Executions are savage and the pace never drops. But the real game changer is the Nemesis system. Enemies remember you, grow stronger, and hold grudges. Death doesn't reset the world, it creates lasting rivalries, and that changes everything. Fortresses are massive, and conquering each one means dominating generals, setting traps, and choosing your allies carefully. The game gives you tactical freedom within chaos. Watching an army rise under your command is a rare kind of reward. The scale feels epic, but the control remains personal. You really feel like you're shaping the world with your own hands. Shadow of War is more than just slashing enemies. It's about power, leadership, and the price of victory. Every defeated enemy might return stronger, every ally might betray you, and through all the swords and spells, what stays are the marks you leave on the minds of those who crossed your path. The world has collapsed, and humanity's last hope lies in distant towers, where people survive connected to machines. Ghostrunner 2 puts you in the skin of a cyber ninja who blends parkour, swordplay, and pure speed. The story picks up after the events of the first game, now with new threats beyond the walls. The The core remains the same: move fast, kill in one hit, and never stop. With each mission, the challenge grows, and so do you. Combat is first-person and extremely technical. One hit is enough to kill. Whether it's you or your enemies, the game forces you to think through every jump, every slide, every block. Reflex and muscle memory become part of the gameplay. And when everything clicks, the feeling of control is unreal. It's like dancing on blades. The aesthetic is a twisted cyberpunk world where neon lights shine over filthy concrete and the skies are always heavy. The environments are more open than in the first game, and now there are even high-speed vehicle sequences. The heavy, synth-filled soundtrack sets the pace and constantly pushes you forward, keeping you on high alert. Ghostrunner 2 feels like a deadly race against the world. There's no time to overthink. You act, fail, restart, and try again until you reach perfection. And when you finally do, the reward isn't just winning, it's knowing you mastered a ruthless system with raw skill. Earth has collapsed, natural resources are gone, and the planet was split between two castes, those who escaped to safe orbits and those left behind to die. Ultra Age begins with a young warrior sent back to the devastated planet on a mission of survival and investigation. But things quickly spiral out of control, and what started as a quest for answers becomes a frantic battle against machines, mutants, and something even more dangerous. The world was abandoned, but it still breathes. Combat is fast and stylish. You switch between swords in real time, each with its own speed, range, and effects. You have to swap at the right moment, land combos, use the environment, and stay in rhythm. The game rewards aggressive play, but also sharp awareness. Slashing enemies with a flaming blade and following up with an electric strike never gets old. The environments range from dry deserts to ruined cities, with an art style that prioritizes smooth gameplay over visual richness. And that works in its favor. You're always moving, always hunting, always advancing. There are upgrades, a progression system, and small story moments that expand the world. And even though the game isn't long, it stays intense from start to finish. Ultra Age is a straightforward modern hack and slash that's far more polished than it first appears. It blends speed with variety while keeping its identity intact. Even with a modest budget, it delivers quality combat packed with personality and flow. One of those games you start just out of curiosity and finish with your heart racing. If you've made it this far, you already know hack and slash games are controlled chaos and dangerously addictive. So now tell me in the comments which one made you want to replay or finally check it out. I'm always reading what you post, and trust me, there's plenty more good stuff coming. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any wild lists like this one. I'm leaving a playlist in the card above with underrated games you have to check out. I'm sure you'll find something awesome there. Big hug, enjoy the gameplay, and see you tomorrow!